Have you ever tried to hold sand in your hands? You watch it slip through your fingers, grain by grain, no matter how tightly you try to hold on. Now, imagine that sand is love. A love that once flowed freely like water, but eventually dried up under the scorching sun of time, distance, or just life circumstances. Yet somehow, even as it crumbled and scattered with the wind, it never truly disappeared. Today, we're going to explore a love story that lives in the hearts of millions. A love that dried up like sand, but never truly died. This is about those relationships that ended, but never really ended. The people we stopped talking to, but never stopped thinking about. The connections that dissolved on the surface, but somehow remained eternal deep down. Stay with me, because this might just be your story too. Let me paint you a picture for you. There's a couple, let's call them Maya and Arjun. They met in college, and their love was like the monsoon rain, intense, overwhelming, and life-giving. They would talk for hours, share their deepest dreams, and they could finish each other's sentences. Anyone who saw them together just knew they were meant to be. But then, as it so often does, life happened. Arjun got a great job opportunity in another city. Maya stayed behind to be with her family. In the beginning, they really tried. There were late-night calls, weekend visits, and endless promises to make it all work. But slowly, so gradually you could barely notice it, the calls got shorter. The visits became rarer, and those promises started to feel heavier and heavier to carry. One day, without any big dramatic fight or betrayal, they both came to a quiet realization. Something had changed. The love that once flowed so freely between them had dried up. It was like sand that was once wet and easy to mold, but was now loose and impossible to hold together. So they broke up. They moved on with their separate lives. Maya eventually married someone her family chose for her. Arjun found someone else too. Years pass, decades even. But here's the thing, neither of them ever truly stopped loving the other. Not really. It wasn't the active, present love they once had. It was something else entirely. It was a love that exists in a different dimension of the heart. This is the kind of love that dries like sand, but it never dies. It's not about clinging to the past or refusing to move forward. It's about accepting that some people leave permanent, beautiful imprints on our souls, even when they can't remain in our lives. It's about understanding that love doesn't always look like it does in the movies or in fairy tales. Sometimes love looks like respect from a distance. Sometimes love looks like silent gratitude for the time you had. And sometimes love looks like nothing at all, except in those quiet, unexpected moments when a certain song plays, or a familiar scent catches you by surprise, or you pass by a place you once visited together. It's a reminder that what was real will always be a part of you. Thank you for listening. Have you ever heard the saying, some love dries like sand but never dies? It's a beautiful, kind of haunting idea, isn't it? Let's dig deeper into what this actually means. Why do some loves fade away but refuse to disappear completely? First, let's talk about closure, or more accurately, the lack of it. So many relationships end with a bang. Think about it. Cheating, betrayal, huge fights, broken trust. These events are like emotional explosions. They create clear, painful endings. The love dies because it's essentially murdered by all that pain and anger. But the loves that dry like sand, they don't have that dramatic death. They just fade. They end because of circumstances, not because of some fatal character flaw. He wasn't a bad person. She didn't betray you. Life just pulled you in different directions. Maybe it was distance, timing, or different life goals. Without a clear villain in the story, there's nothing to direct your anger at. There's nothing to use as fuel to burn away those feelings. So the love remains. It's transformed, it's quieter, but it's still present. Second, there's the powerful concept of the one who got away. Psychologically, we humans have this strong tendency to idealize what we couldn't have or what we lost prematurely. When a relationship ends because of external factors rather than a fundamental incompatibility, our minds get stuck on one question: what if? What if the timing had been just a little different? What if we had fought harder for it? What if we had both been a bit braver? These endless questions keep the love alive in a kind of suspended state. It gets crystallized in our memory, perfectly preserved like a fossil in amber, never having to face the messy, mundane realities of everyday life together. You remember all the laughter, but you conveniently forget the small, annoying arguments. You remember the intense passion, but you forget the subtle ways you weren't quite compatible. The relationship becomes a perfect, idealized story in your mind. Third, and this is perhaps the most important part, there's growth. The person you loved didn't just walk out of your life and leave a void. They shaped you. They taught you things about yourself you never knew. They showed you what it feels like to be truly vulnerable, to trust someone with your whole heart, to dream with another person. And those lessons, those profound experiences, don't just evaporate when the relationship ends. They become part of your foundation, part of who you are today. Every time you show kindness to your current partner because you learned patience from that past love, that old love is alive. Every time you stand up for yourself because a past relationship taught you your own worth, that love lives on. Every time you recognize a real, genuine connection because you were lucky enough to experience it once before, that dried love is speaking to you. This is why it never truly dies, because it stopped being just about them a long time ago. It's now about who you became because they were once a part of your world. Think about a powerful river that once flowed through a landscape. Even when that river dries up, its path remains etched into the earth. The grooves, the canyons, the entire shape of the land is forever marked by the water that's long gone. That's exactly what these significant relationships do to us. They become permanent geographical features of our emotional landscape. They are a part of our story, a part of our map, a part of who we are. Ever wonder about the loves that didn't last? The ones that ended not with a bang, but with a quiet acceptance that your paths had to diverge? These aren't stories of regret, but of a different kind of loved one that shapes us, even after it's gone. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a teacher in a small town. When she was 24, she met James, a soldier stationed nearby. They had 6 months together, the most intense, beautiful 6 months of her life. Then he was deployed. They tried to keep their love alive through letters and rare phone calls, but the distance was just too great. The uncertainty was too heavy. With heavy hearts, they agreed to part ways. Fast forward to today, Sarah is 68 years old. She's been married to a good, kind man for 40 years. She has 3 children and 7 wonderful grandchildren. She's lived a full, genuinely happy life. But once a year, on the anniversary of the day she met James, she lights a single candle. It's not an act of sadness or regret. It's an act of gratitude, because James showed her that she was capable of a deep, profound love. And that knowledge, that feeling, gave her the courage to open her heart completely to her husband years later. She doesn't know where James is now. She hasn't spoken to him in over 4 decades, but that love never died. It just transformed into something else, a quiet gratitude that lives in a corner of her heart, a gentle reminder of the love she could give. Then there's the story of the almost marriage. David and Elena dated for 8 years. Everyone, including them, thought they would get married. They had it all planned out. But there was one fundamental difference they couldn't overcome. Elena wanted children desperately, while David, after years of soul-searching, realized he didn't. It wasn't that he couldn't have them. He simply didn't want them. It was nobody's fault. Just an incompatibility too deep to ignore. They broke up with tears and immense heartbreak, but also with deep respect and love for one another. They went no contact because staying friends was just too painful. That was 15 years ago. David eventually married a woman who also didn't want children, and they are incredibly happy. Elena found a partner who shared her dream of parenthood and now has two beautiful kids. Both are genuinely happy in their new lives. But David once told me something that has stuck with me ever since. He said, "I still love her. I'm completely in love with my wife, but I also still love Elena. They're just different things. One is my present and my future. The other is, well, it's a part of my history that still glows, like a star that's already died, but its light is still traveling through space, still reaching me." And finally, the childhood sweethearts. Aisha and Marcus were inseparable from age 14 to 22. They grew up together in every sense of the word, sharing firsts and dreaming of futures. But as they entered their early 20s, they realized they had grown into different people. She craved adventure and wanted to see the world. He wanted stability and to put down roots in their hometown. Neither of them was wrong. Their dreams were just different. Their breakup was mutual and, for their age, surprisingly mature. They promised to always remember each other fondly. For a while, they kept in touch. But life got busy, as it does, and they naturally drifted apart. 20 years later, Marcus was browsing a bookstore when he saw a familiar name on a book cover. Aisha had published a novel. He bought it immediately. When he opened it to the dedication page, among several names was his. Just his name, nothing more. But he understood everything in that one word. She was saying, "You're part of why I became who I am today. You were part of my journey." He never reached out. He didn't need to. The message was received. The love was acknowledged. And that was enough. These stories all share a common thread: acceptance. These people didn't cling desperately to relationships that had run their course. They didn't let the past stop them from moving forward. They simply acknowledged that some loves don't fit neatly into the boxes we create, the ones labeled forever or forgotten. Some loves exist in that quiet in-between space. Have you ever felt haunted by a past love? Not in a dramatic, movie-like way, but more like carrying around a pressed flower in a book. It's a love that's over, but it hasn't disappeared. It's dried preserved. If you're carrying this kind of love, what do you do with it? How do you honor it without letting it poison your present? First, give it a place, but not your whole heart. Imagine your heart has many rooms. Give this dried love a small room, but a real one. Don't try to evict it. That never works. But don't let it take over the entire house either. Visit that room when you need to, when a memory surfaces, but live your life in the other sunnier rooms. Second, transform it into wisdom. Use what you learned. That love taught you something about yourself, about relationships, about what you need and what you can give. Don't let those lessons go to waste. Apply them. Let that past love make your present love better, stronger, and more self-aware. Third, and this is the hardest part, release the what-ifs. Our minds love to torture us with alternate timelines. What if you had tried harder? What if they had stayed? Here's the truth. You made the best decision you could with the information and emotional resources you had at the time. Honor that version of yourself. Trust that you did what you needed to do. And please understand this. Just because a love was real doesn't mean it was meant to last forever. Some people are in our lives to teach us, to awaken something in us, to show us what's possible. Once that purpose is fulfilled, it's okay for them to become a memory. A beautiful, formative, important memory, but a memory nonetheless. Fourth, if you're in a new relationship, be honest but wisely. You don't need to constantly talk about your old loves. But you also shouldn't pretend they never existed. If your partner asks, be honest. You can say something like, "Yes, I loved someone before you. That love shaped me. And part of why I can love you so well now is because of what I learned then." Most secure people can handle this truth. What they can't handle is sensing that you're hiding something, or that you're emotionally unavailable because you're stuck in the past. Finally, understand that tried doesn't mean dead, but it also doesn't mean alive. This love exists in a unique state. It's not active. It's not pulling you away from your life. It's simply there, like a photograph in a drawer. You don't look at it every day, but you know it's there, and sometimes you're glad for that. Don't guilt yourself for carrying it, but also don't use it as an excuse to avoid fully. I want to talk about something a little complicated today, something many of us feel but rarely discuss. It's about the loves from our past, the ones that feel like they've dried into sand but never truly died. You might think that holding on to a past love somehow diminishes your ability to love in the present, that your heart is like a cup that can only hold so much. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. The human heart isn't a finite resource. Think of it this way. Every person you that ever loved hasn't taken a piece of your heart away. Instead, they've expanded it. Each experience, each connection, each heartbreak has actually made your heart bigger, stronger, and wiser. That love you carry from your past, the one that feels like a quiet, lingering echo, it's not a burden. It's not a sign that you're broken or stuck. It's a testament. It's proof of your incredible capacity to connect, to feel deeply, and to be vulnerable, even knowing the risk of getting hurt. It's a testament to what you've survived. So, if you're carrying one of these loves, I want you to know that I see you. I understand. You're not living in the past or unable to move on. You're simply human with a heart that is wonderfully complex, capable of holding multiple truths at the same time. It is absolutely possible to love the person in your present with your entire being, while also quietly honoring the person from your past who helped shape the heart you have today. These two things don't contradict each other. They complement each other. They show the depth and richness of your emotional world. The sand may have dried, and the shape of that love might have changed, but the essence of it remains. It transforms, it matures, and it becomes a source of wisdom. It's not a chain holding you back from your future. It's a foundation holding you up, making you who you are today. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you feel comfortable, share your story. Let's create a space together where these complex, beautiful, and sometimes bittersweet loves are acknowledged and